Perlmutter. While most of the health care reform legislation has yet to take effect, do you support efforts to modify or repeal it?
Well, as many of you know, this is a very personal subject for me. One of my kids has epilepsy, and she, through no fault of her own, has a different chemistry than many other people. But she is uninsurable as a result of that. She can be discriminated against as a result of her illness. And one of the main things achieved by the healthcare law is to eliminate that discrimination, which, personally I think is immoral and probably unconstitutional under the 14th Amendment equal protection of the laws. So one of the major things that was resolved by the healthcare legislation is dealing with people who have suffered accidents, have chronic illnesses, and are otherwise uninsurable. It gives them a chance now to have insurance as they go forward. It saves us from a number of bankruptcies that people might have. It assists on at least 18,000 people who have pre-existing conditions in our area. Now, this bill, it also helps those of us who have younger kids who are in college just starting to work, because it moves it from 22 years old to 26 years old. So you can have one of your children stay on the policy. So there are many things that are very good in there. It deals with the donut hole that seniors experience in their Medicare. But obviously, it's not perfect, and it could use some changes. One of the places that I really want to take a look at, I met with a businessman yesterday, a nursing home operator who has many employees, but he has some employees that don't stay a year. He'd like to have some kind of probationary period so that he knows if he starts paying for their health insurance that they're going to be long-time employees, that if he makes that investment. And that's something we need to take a look at. This bill needs some changes, but it really resolves a major issue, which was discriminating against people with prior illnesses. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey. You're next. Do you support efforts to modify or repeal the healthcare legislation?
Simple. Repeal it. It's not the government's business. And we need to repeal the Public Health Service Act and all the other things that have infiltrated that into it. Healthcare is one of those things that's a consumer good. In my own family, it's very difficult to decide how much health care each of us needs. My wife has fell down and broke her shoulder, so she's used quite a bit of health care here. Fortunately, we were in the military at the time, and we do have a good system of health care coverage for our military and our dependents. But it's a deeply personal thing, and I think that's something, it's a market product, and whether we like it or not, insurance is a bet. We bet a little bit of money against the insurance companies, a lot of money. That system doesn't work if everybody is taking a lot of money out of the system, out of any insurance program. Bottom line is, those of us that are healthy do end up paying for those that are using the healthcare system or whatever other insurance program. It's not the government's business to set it to interfere in that right to contract about how we deal with the issues in our personal lives, our health care, and to pick anything else. So, bottom line, get the government out of the healthcare business, allow people to contract with insurance companies and other people that are willing to provide that for them. Pre-existing condition, that's what insurance is about. We're not going to let you into the pool if we know that we're going to pay for you. You got to allow that freedom to do that. Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Frazier.
Repeal and replace this healthcare bill with better solutions that actually lower costs and increase access to quality care in America. First, I grew up very humble roots. Mom worked a lot of jobs to provide for us. I understand that not a lot of folks can access health care, and we need to address that. It's a legitimate issue. But this healthcare takeover is not only unaffordable and too costly, but it's, in my opinion, the mandates are unconstitutional. I wish my opponent, Democrat Ed Perlmutter, would stop blaming his job-killing votes on the past and start holding himself accountable for his actions in Congress. The bottom line is this, that you ran on a platform to change Washington, and Washington changed you. In 2006, Ed Perlmutter said that he opposed mandates on employers. What happened? This health care bill not only mandates and adds increased costs to employers, but for the first time in history, our federal government is telling we as individuals that we must buy private health insurance. Never before have we been there. Now, if Mr. Ed Perlmutter is so proud of this health care bill, I would ask you, this beautiful piece of literature he's passing around, leaving on people's doors, why isn't there one mention of this health care reform? I can tell you why. Because it's going to kill jobs. It's going to kill jobs, and we know it. I've talked to small businesses all around Colorado, and they told me, Ryan, this is one of the reasons that I'm afraid to hire. I believe in healthcare reform. We all do. We have to increase access through small business health associations, allowing people to purchase health insurance across state lines, tort and malpractice reform, 2 efforts to bend that cost curve down and increase access. Those are better solutions that will ensure more Americans have access to quality care. But we don't need government telling us what to do and taxing us to do it, increasing the price of premiums for all Americans. Folks, there are better answers. You deserve better. Our children deserve better. Thank you.
Our next question, do you support the recent financial reform legislation, and what, if anything, would you change? We'll start with Mr. Bailey.
Again, simple answer. It's not the government's business. Allow people to contract and hold them responsible. Let them be responsible for the actions of their consequences of their actions. All the financial meltdown, I disagree that we were headed for a permanent fall at the end of 2007. I think we would have been much better off if we would have let a number of companies fail. If we would have stopped the TARP, as the public pressure on Congress was to slow down, read the bill, and understand what you're really doing. And when I sat down and pulled up, I'm a reader. I try to read everything, and that's one of the 3 things that's on my 3 top priorities for if I were to be elected. Read the bill. And understand it. And one of the first things you come across in that TARP bill that told me we need to stop this was the Treasury Department's what's the word I'm looking for? Ability to not follow the federal acquisition regulations for what they needed to do, which is buy and sell. I mean, I don't know how many of you, if you're a businessman, you deal with federal contracts, federal acquisition regulations are